Hello and welcome to my Arma duo guide. I will throw in a few tips for solo people, but this is primarily a duo guide. And also, sorry about my voice. I'm sick right now and it's kind of hard for me to talk and stuff like that. So, I do hope you enjoy them. So for the requirements, I'm assuming you're somewhat familiar with the God Wars dungeon area if you are thinking about duoing. So you obviously need 70 range to get into the area and 60 strength or agility to get into the God Wars dungeon. And you do need 40 plus prayer for protect from range. I do recommend a much higher level prayer though, especially for things like rigor and things like that. And then other than that, you do want a high level range level. 90 plus is preferred, and very close to 99 if you're thinking about soloing. You also want money for gear, at least 20-30 mil. A partner if you're going to duo, obviously, and I really advise having a partner in case you die, they can bless your grave. And then you obviously want some good general stats, high defense level, high summoning level, high magic level as well. So for the gear, personally I like a Varax helmet. However, something like a Pernix cowl or an Armadillo helmet would probably be better, but those are a lot more expensive, and a Varax helmet works just fine. An Ava's Lurder is the best choice, besides a Completionist Cape, obviously, but an Ava's Lurder or others' Ava's device is what you want to collect your bolts. An Amulet of Fury is the best. An Amulet of Glory works as well. Amulet of Glory can also be your teleport out, which can be helpful. You need a Myth Grapple. There's no exception to that. Chaotic Crossbow is the best option. Rune Crossbow would obviously work as well. If you have a Chaotic Crossbow, you might get a few more kills in per hour and things like that, though. You obviously do need an Armadillo item, so an Armadillo chestplate works very well. It is the higher range bonus of the options, so basically it's about 18 or 15 mil right now, so it's a pretty good option to use. A Spectral Spirit Shield is one of the best options. Obviously an LE or Divine is the best, or an Eagle-Eye Kite Shield, but a Spectral is very good. Or you can go with a Dragonfire Shield. It's not the best option since it does give a negative range bonus. Or you could also go with something like an Unholy Book or something like that. But that's really just up to you. A Carol Skirt. If you do have an Armadillo Chain Skirt, that works very well here. But I wanted to go pretty cheap, and Carol Skirt's only about 500k compared to about 16 mil or something, so it is a lot cheaper. For the kill count, I use Zamorak Van Braces. This is just counts as my Zamorak item, and it makes me not have to avoid the Zamorak creatures. If you want, you don't have to. You could do something like just wear Barrow's Gloves the entire time, and you can lure these Zamorak creatures, but I find wearing Zamorak Van Braces then switching. Normally I don't have Barrow's Gloves, I have Swift Gloves, but I'm just using the Barrow's Gloves as an example in this video. Infinity Boots, if you have something like Glaven Boots or Ranger Boots, go ahead and use them, but Infinity Boots are a pretty cheap option. It's kind of debatable whether to use Snakeskin Boots versus Infinity Boots. Infinity Boots give more mage defense. Snakeskin Boots obviously give more attack bonus, so it is up to you pretty much for that. And then I have an Onyx Ring Imbued. An Archer's Ring Imbued would probably be better, but an Onyx Ring Imbued is fine, or a Dragonstone Ring Imbued, or whatever you really have. Then for the inventory, you need at least two. Well, you really only need one type of bolt. Like, you pretty much definitely need diamond bolts, and just use those for everything. But I like getting kill count a little bit cheaper, so I bring broad bolts for the kill count. Then I bring ruby bolts for the first half of the kill, and diamond bolts for the second half. And then I use the diamond bolts on the minions as well. However, you will go through diamond bolts quite a bit faster than ruby bolts, so you might want to bring a little bit more. 400 of each should be enough though. It is really just up to you though whether you want to use them. If you're max range, you probably really only need to bring diamond. The ruby can just help a little bit at lower range levels. I do bring gloves to switch to once I'm in the boss room. Usually it's Swift gloves, that way I can get the double hits in. I have Trollheim teleport tablets. You can use something like the drop trick to get to Trollheim and keep your inventory full or whatever. But these are my teleport in and teleport out, so that's why I have 5. This is the second enhanced Excalibur. I use it to heal after the overloads. If you have overloads, it is very helpful to have. I bring a few extra War Tortoise pouches just because one is pretty much almost done after the kill count, and then I have a few more after that. And then a Unicorn pouch and Unicorn scrolls. Any healing familiar works pretty well here, so something like a Titan would be good, or a Fruit Bat works very well as well. And I have 5 overloads. If you have overloads, they help so much here because you're going to be brewing quite a bit. And then 5 prayer renewals. Just the prayer renewals for, you drink them just at the same time as overloads, and they work great. And then I left the rest blank, and my War Tortoise I'm going to summon here, because it's really up to you how many you use. Personally, I go with approximately a 2-to-1. With this many spots, I usually do about 8 restores and the rest brews. If I'm doing a duo, if you're doing a solo, you might want to do something more like a 3-to-1, or you might not want to even bring War Tortoise because it can, because I'll explain the attacks in a bit, but you just might not want to bring that. And other than that, it really is just up to you. If you're in a really big team, you might want to bring 1-to-1 ratio, or even more brews or more restores and brews. If you're in a really small team like a duo, and it's like your guys' first time, or you're low leveled, you might want to bring a 1 brew for every, or 3 brews for every 1 restore. So it really is up to you on what you do. You have to really figure out something that works for you. Personally, I go with approximately 2-to-1. So there basically are 2 good spots to get the kill count. The best spot is just south of the rope swing where you use your grapple to get across. And that's pretty much the best spot. There's not really any Zamorak creatures there. There's one that you can lure, but it's not too bad. So that's the best spot. The second best spot is just west of there. And it's, you see the 2 things on screen right now. And basically, the first spot that I mentioned, it's the best, except if it's kind of crowded. There aren't really that many. There's a 73 and a 79 and a few 90s in there as well. But the spot to the west, it has a few 80-ish ones as well. On the one on the west, they are a little more spread out, though, so you do have to run around a little bit more. The only problem with the one on the east is it can get a little bit crowded at times. If there were bots, that's where they would be. So that would be the real problem with that. But without the bots, it's not too big of an issue either way. For actually getting the kill count, you just want to pretty much shoot one and just kill it and move on to the next one. It's really not that difficult to do. I mean, there's a 73 right here. 73 spawns right about here. This is the 79. I think it spawns right here. So I want to say those are 2 places, but I could be a little bit off on that. And then there's a 92 right there. I would not advise attacking anything over 100. There's a 94 right here. So this spot's a very good spot to do it. The second spot is over here. There's a 79 right here. There's a 97. There are a few lower levels on this side as well. 73 up there. And I think the 73 spawns here. I think the 79 spawns in here. I want to say that's right. I'm, once again, not 100% certain. But, yeah, so you can... there's an 84. 84 spawns in here. And so, yeah, and you can pretty much kill whatever you want in this area, and you will be pretty much fine. Just don't attack any of the high levels. And if you aren't wearing a Zamorak item, this spot's kind of bad because there are some Zamorak creatures around. But I just highly advise bringing a Zamorak item, and you don't have to worry about it. So basically, while killing Arma, you just want to go in. You do want to pray protect from range. Its range attacks, I believe, can hit up to about 600. I'm not 100% certain about that. I've never gotten hit by it by 600. But I know they hit very hard. I've seen the return hit about 50, which means it would hit into about the 500s or so. Basically, it's dangerous. Just pray. It also attacks with magic and melee. However, it only attacks with melee if it's not being attacked. This is another advantage of having a partner where hopefully one or both of you are always attacking. So I do advise having a partner for that reason, and also, once again, blessing your grave and things like that. Its mage can hit up to about 300, and then the minions can also hit into the 200s, so you can get comboed for quite a bit of damage if you're not careful. So I would advise for that reason keeping your health above at least 500 or so. Now, in this one example, I am using Rigor. It's not needed. My friend is using leeches and using Soul Split on the minions, and that can be pretty helpful as well, because that way you get to heal up a little bit between kills, whereas I don't, because I'm obviously just using Rigor. But on the other hand, it does help a little bit to have one person leeching and one person on Rigor. The person on Rigor dealing quite a bit of damage. The person leeching obviously reducing the enemy's defense, so basically the person on Rigor can do even more damage. And so it is a pretty helpful thing to have. But other than that, yeah, just obviously overload and things like that. If you do have the Enhanced Excalibur, you want to overload and then use your special. The special takes 5 minutes to recharge, so theoretically you could use it every single time you overload. I did notice that on this trip it was kind of a little bit off of a timer. I don't know why, it really kind of annoyed me though, because I kept having to use my Enhanced Excalibur spec, or wait to overload and then use my Enhanced Excalibur spec, which was really quite annoying. It is possible to overload during the kill. It is very risky though. I've gotten down to about 80 life points before. I did it just here, and I don't think I got to 80 this time, but it is very risky. And there was an example of the bird meleeing me. So just be careful of that. The melee hit can hit quite hard. So do just be careful. Just try to keep attacking. And there we got a God Sword Shard. Obviously not that valuable. We were coin sharing here. I'll show you another picture in a bit of something else we got. But in general, yeah, just keep your health above 500 and you should be fine. For the first half of the kill, try to use Ruby Bolts if you have them. Then Diamond Bolts for the second. Ruby Bolts, if they're their first hit, they can hit up to about 510. If it's after that, they kind of go down. That's why you want to eventually switch to Diamonds. And then, obviously, I'm also using Swift Gloves and stuff throughout this entire thing. But yeah, it's not that hard of a boss. Just focus, keep your health up, and try not to die. And finally, here's just me a clip of killing Arma and getting a, once it dies, Arma chestplate split. I think it was 7.8 mil each, which was a very nice drop. I have to admit, I was that. Obviously, it's not a hilt, but who cares? I enjoy getting drops, period. Thanks for watching. I do hope it helped. Good luck on getting some good drops. For this next week of videos, I hope the new Slayer Dungeon will be released Tuesday. I hope I can do something in it. And if that's true, then I will release a guide on that Wednesday. If something about that's not true, I don't really know what I'm going to do Wednesday. And I do promise a guide next Sunday. However, the week after that, I have finals, and so I might not get a video out Wednesday. But I will have a video out that next Sunday, and then I have a month off. So I do have some time coming up that will make a lot of videos. So subscribe for those, and please rate and comment on this video.